In a world that rewards noise, few realize the deadly power of silence. From childhood, we are trained to speak, to explain, to justify, to seek validation. But Machiavelli saw beyond this social conditioning. In his world of courts, spies, betrayal, and ambition, he observed one timeless truth: those who speak too much lose too much. Why? Because words are currency, and the more freely you spend them, the less they're worth. The more you talk, the more you reveal. The more you reveal, the less power you hold. Every sentence is a window into your strategy, your emotions, your fears, and for your enemies, those windows become open doors. Machiavelli never had to say, "Stay silent," outright. His warnings, his examples, his stories all point to one commandment: govern your tongue like you would your kingdom. Because silence is not emptiness, it is control. And control is power. Silence disorients people. It makes them guess. It turns you into a mirror, reflecting their assumptions, exposing their weaknesses. While they talk, you watch. While they plot, you listen. While they reveal, you prepare. In every negotiation, every room, every battlefield of influence, silence is your shield, not because you're afraid, but because you're planning. A single pause can shift perception. A withheld opinion can save an empire. The loud are predictable. The silent are dangerous. Master the art of saying nothing until you absolutely must. And when you do, every word will hit like thunder. That is the true art of silence. That is the hidden crown of kings. To the naive, speech is about self-expression. But to the powerful, speech is about control. Machiavelli knew that words shape perception, and perception governs reality. In the arena of influence, every word is either a weapon or a wound, and most people wound themselves by speaking without aim. When you speak, you reveal your inner world, your desires, your fears, your priorities. The powerful man reveals none of that. He speaks rarely, and when he does, every sentence is calculated. Every word is chosen like a soldier sent into battle. The goal is not connection, it's leverage. Watch how the powerful speak, slowly, briefly, often ending with questions rather than declarations. Why? Because the one who asks the questions steers the dialogue. The one who answers reveals the most. Use your words to misdirect, to provoke, to frame. Avoid the trap of trying to be understood. You are not here to be known. You are here to be respected, and if necessary, feared. Let others over-explain, overshare, overcommit. You stay focused, deliberate, unreadable. In a world obsessed with transparency, strategic opacity becomes a superpower. Master your voice like a blade. Speak only when silence would cost you more than precision. Silence isn't passivity, it's precision. It's not absence of thought, it's the containment of it. Machiavelli saw the power in the man who knows everything but says nothing. Such a man walks into a room and controls it with presence alone. While others chatter and perform, he observes, measures, stores every detail. In that stillness, he gathers what others spill. In politics, silence is more terrifying than speech. People don't fear what they understand. They fear what they can't predict. The silent man becomes a myth. He forces others to fill in the blanks with their fears, fantasies, and insecurities. They project onto him, and that projection gives him power. To remain silent is not weakness, it is mastery. Let others laugh the loudest. They are often the weakest. The man who listens is the man who leads. He builds an arsenal of insight, while everyone else performs. He does not waste energy on noise. He channels it into outcomes. Machiavelli would advise, be still like water, but carry the potential of flood. Let others underestimate you. Their assumptions become your camouflage. Speech is action, and every action in the realm of power must serve purpose. Uncontrolled speech is like an army without a commander, chaotic, reckless, and ultimately self-defeating. Machiavelli taught that the leader must use words as an architect uses stone, with precision and intention. One careless sentence can undermine months of strategy. One misjudged joke can become a weapon in your enemy's hands. The wise ruler speaks to build, to test, to persuade, never to impress. Controlled speech isn't just about what you say. It's about when, where, how, and to whom you say it. Timing is everything. Say too much, too soon, and you forfeit your advantage. Speak too little, too late, and you appear weak. A man of power cultivates gravitas, weight in his voice, and meaning in his silence. When he speaks, people lean in, not because his voice is loud, but because his restraint is respected. He has trained the world to know that when he speaks, it matters. This is what Machiavelli meant when he spoke of appearances and influence. Control the narrative by controlling the words, and you control the future. There is a subtle weapon in the strategist's arsenal that many overlook: the pause. It is not merely a silence, but a calculated delay, a pregnant moment loaded with psychological weight. Machiavelli understood that power is not only in what is said, but in what is withheld, and for how long. The pause creates anticipation. In conversation, it forces others to fill the space, often with their own thoughts, confessions, or vulnerabilities. In negotiation, it signals strength, making the other party question their position. In conflict, it destabilizes. A well-timed pause can say more than 1,000 words. It's the moment that demands attention, commands focus, and leaves an imprint. Think of the courtroom, the boardroom, the battlefield. In every domain, those who master the pause bend reality. They force others to lean in, to wait, to wonder. The pause disarms aggressors, calms chaos, and redirects energy. Do not underestimate the man who hesitates before speaking. He is not unsure. He is shaping the terrain. The pause gives him control. And in a world addicted to speed and noise, slowness becomes subversive. It is the quiet rebellion of the wise. Use the pause not as a retreat, but as a blade. Let silence cut through distraction. Let it build suspense. Let it unsettle. And then, when you finally speak, every word becomes an earthquake. Most people listen to reply. Few listen to learn. Fewer still listen to dominate. Machiavelli placed immense value on observation, because to listen is not to be passive, it is to prepare. The one who listens hears more than words. He hears motive, emotion, insecurity. He hears the cracks in confidence, the tremors of doubt, the overreach of arrogance. Listening is how you gather intelligence. And in power, intelligence is everything. The wise ruler lets his adversaries speak first. He lets them display their hand, reveal their strategy, expose their ego. He asks questions that appear innocent, but are designed to test, to stress, to penetrate. In silence, the listener gathers ammunition. While others spill their thoughts, he builds his response, not just to defend, but to dismantle. This is how a single sentence, delivered at the right time, collapses an entire argument. Listening is not submission. It is dominance in disguise. Let them talk. Let them unwind. Let them believe they are leading the dance. Meanwhile, you are memorizing every step, planning your moment to strike. In the kingdom of power, the listener is the shadow that controls the light. Power is rarely loud. It's rarely flamboyant. True power moves in silence and commands without screaming. Machiavelli knew that the one who speaks least often holds the most. In every royal court, council chamber, or corporate summit, the true alpha rarely needs to assert himself vocally. His silence alone declares his rank. Silence builds mystique. It forces others to project their fears or fantasies onto you. When you speak too freely, too often, you give them certainty. And certainty is comfort. But if you want to lead or intimidate, you must never let them get comfortable. The most dangerous man in the room is not the one making the noise. It's the one who watches, calculates, waits. That man makes others react, while he remains untouchable. Speak less, and people will assume more. Let them fill the blanks with awe or anxiety. Either works in your favor. Power thrives on asymmetry, and silence creates that imbalance instantly. The higher your status, the more your silence is interpreted as wisdom, the more unpredictable you become. This is not about arrogance. It's about strategy. A silent leader is not disconnected. He is deliberate. In a world obsessed with performance, be the one who observes. Let others compete for attention, while you dominate through restraint. Because the man who doesn't need to speak speaks volumes. Words are dangerous. They betray you even when your intentions are clean. One careless phrase can become tomorrow's headline. One vulnerable confession can become your enemy's favorite tool. Machiavelli would warn, never hand over a weapon your opponent didn't have to earn. Speech can be twisted, misinterpreted, weaponized, and once you've said it, you cannot take it back. Silence, however, gives no ammunition. The more you speak, the more you anchor yourself. You reveal where you stand. You close your options. But the one who remains elusive, he keeps the board open. He plays 12 moves ahead. In politics, in negotiation, even in intimacy, those who talk too much often destroy themselves. They rush to be liked, to be understood, to be seen. But power doesn't beg to be seen. It is felt, and often feared. Never explain when silence will suffice. Never answer a question just because it was asked. And never let your need to connect override your need to win. Master speech, not just in content, but in consequence. And when in doubt, shut up. That's the beginning of real control. Restraint is not just about silence, it's about supremacy. Machiavelli understood that the truly powerful don't need to prove themselves with every word, every gesture, every declaration. The more you need to be seen, the less you are in control. Real influence does not shout, it waits, it weighs. It acts only when necessary. Restraint is the art of choosing your moment, not reacting when provoked, not retaliating when disrespected, not responding just to satisfy your ego. The man who cannot hold back, who must always speak, argue, defend, is a man ruled by impulse, not intelligence. In silence, you study, you plan, you gain an edge that the reactive will never possess. You watch as others trip over their own urgency, drown in their own noise, expose their own weaknesses. When you master restraint, you own the tempo of power. You speak when the room is ready. You move when the field is yours. You strike not out of emotion, but out of precision. So here is the final and brutal truth. If you want to rise, shut up. Shut up and observe. Shut up and prepare. Shut up and let others burn their chances with loose lips and loud egos. Every time you open your mouth, ask, does this serve me? Does this build power or leak it? Is this a move or a moment of weakness? Machiavelli knew what modern minds forget. Power is not given to those who speak the most, but to those who speak last and best. Silence is not absence. It is pressure. It is presence. The man who commands silence commands attention. The man who speaks only when needed commands consequence. Speak when the world is leaning in. Until then, build the tension. Let the silence crown you.